Like, what's he doing in that sink, bro? Mind the bed rocking. My boy doesn't. He's like, if I knew I was gonna get some tonight, I wouldn't have been gooning in the bathroom. I mean, I don't have the same connection to Gob as I did to who I thought was gonna die, but it's still pretty heavy. I don't know Gob very well, but I do get the impression Gob's the type of person who wants a party thrown on his death, not a funeral. When you really take a moment to think about it, they essentially had to kill the most overpowered character in the show so we wouldn't have walking plot armor. Yes, does technically that object go to someone else and they can do similar, if not the exact same things? Sure, but by killing off Gob, who apparently has spells out the ass he can do, paints a little spell, anyone with bad intentions can't enter city. That's insane. I don't know what the limitations are, but as it stands, I think they're limitless. By killing him off, you remove the ability of getting a spell, maybe a protective ward, whatever it is. Because in the short term, the kid in question who's taking over for him, pretty much you can't force to do what you want. This is a city of kind of free will. So there's going to be some point we'll get some protection or whatever else we might need. But it's kind of brilliant because you get the emotional death, the weight of the death, which we recently avoided. Doesn't hurt the viewers quite as much as it does the characters, but it also avoids making them a little too busted on their first extravagant mission, and I think that's kind of brilliant. Make sure to drop a like though, show your support on this video. You can subscribe if you're new around here, and Patreon is where you'll catch my full live reactions on all these Gachiakuta episodes, while also helping to fund the channel. So, wasn't expecting this episode. I mean, the thing is we're now 9 episodes in, and I don't think they've had your traditional breathing room episode. They've always been doing something, whether fights or laughs or a wide variety of things. There's never been a downtime episode as it stands. And the fact that this will be running for 24 episodes has me excited what they're going to be able to pull off in a second core. Because the more I'm learning about this world and their objects and just, you know, for a group of people that are disposed, like they are literally trash people. They're considered disposable. They're less than scum. The way it feels like they have so much freedom. Like, at the end of the day, Gob killed himself. If he would have wore a mask when he was out in the polluted zones, you know, he would have been fine. But he's the type of guy that he wanted to be in nature. I think he's an idiot. I truly do. But at the end of the day, he lived and died on his own terms. There was no one telling him otherwise. And the interesting thing about how this world works in a political system is that it's not just like you choose your successor for your object. If that object's important to the world, that also comes with the political ramifications of it. So essentially, passing it on to a kid, basically, it kind of seems like cruelty. Like, you know, you got yourself killed, you're forcing a kid now, because any request that happens, like, this kid's gonna have to do it. It's a lot. And the idea of going from someone who is bawling their eyes out, running away, freaking out, to just slapping themselves in the face saying, you know what? I got this. Because even though I didn't really know this character that well, the little glimpses they've shown us of Gob does give me the impression he's not someone who wants a funeral where you cry over his body. He wants you to throw a party. The idea that immediately using that wand, basically, because that's what it's acting like. Yeah, it's a pen/paintbrush, but it gets almost treated as a wand. And making the spray cans, the little tops, shoot up into the sky as fireworks. I mean, it could have easily been a cry fest. And I think for most people that's what you would want to do, and probably what most would expect would happen on a major death. But nah, man, this is the city of dreamers. This is, you paint where you want to paint. You live by your rules, you die by your own rules, and you do what you want. And I think it's just such a interesting episode that really, it shapes the view of how to interpret this world so much better than any of the past episodes have done. And I think for Rudo, coming from a world where, if we remember, society was divided, right? You had the rich and the poor. He essentially was treated like cattle. And, you know, the fact that he was fed worse than cattle is insane. So the idea of feeling like a prisoner both on the surface and probably feeling like a prisoner down below, the fact that a death is probably one of the key reasons he's going to start looking at these people not as prisoners of being thrown away as trash, but maybe more free than anyone on the surface ever was, is a pretty beautiful way to explore the world building side of all these characters, you know what I mean? And I mean, it's a beautiful looking show. Immediately when you approach the city, at first I was like, man, I don't know what they built the city out of, and then I realized, oh, it's just all graffiti. I mean, it's called the City of Graffiti, right? And they live up to that. I wasn't sure initially what was happening, because there's these two guys trying to enter the city and they're like, you know, banging their heads and they all walk through. I think to myself, oh, it must be a case of you gotta have the blessing or something, right? So much cooler. I forget the exact phrasing, but it's along the lines of, anyone with bad intentions ain't entering this city. That is busted. That is really busted, and I generally wonder, is it that indestructible, or is there ways to overpower it? Because all I'm imagining is that a character like Gob could be like, alright, take off your shirt, I'm gonna paint a spell on your back. Anyone who tries to hurt you gets redirected back at you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know the full limitations, but either way, pretty insane ability. And the thing that it also opens up is, obviously they're talking more about Gob in this case, but it feels like any of the major important players in this world, they assign a successor. So if they die, their item goes to them. And I'm generally interested if by the end of Season 1, if we will have Rudo do the same thing. Because his gloves are his most precious object. For him to pick someone to trust to have them if he was to die would be an incredibly powerful moment for his character and for his heart starting to patch and mend after dealing with so much death, grief, and betrayal. Either way though, it is kind of funny. In a very sad episode, he was kind of gooning in the bathroom. Like, he was washing his gloves, but the moaning and the grunts and the perspective, the fact that not only did she think that's what he was doing, but came down to witness firsthand, and the fact that she realized that, oh, he wasn't taking care of himself, he was washing his gloves. Anyway, I'll be on my merry way now. Rudo didn't know what to do in that moment, and I love how she refused to go out the front door. I get sneaking in because, you know, her room's above his, so dropping in, but like, you could have took the door. What are we doing here? Either way, Gachiakuta been a damn fine time so far. It's one of those shows that if it would have been 12 episodes, I do think we're reaching a point where they probably could have stopped it fine. But it is nice because so few shows are going to be carrying into the next season that a show like this with as interesting world building, we're not going to have to say goodbye to in 3 episodes. Thankfully, it'll just keep on going into the fall season, which is looking like a very busy anime season, but I think Gachiakuta has kind of cemented itself as a must-watch series that I don't think it will lose too much of its viewership like a lot of shows that do carry into a following season. Of course, those are my feelings. Let me know what you thought and what you thought of Gob's death, because goddamn, they surprisingly made it emotional after not killing who I thought they were going to kill, so rug pull moment for me. Your thoughts though, drop a like, share your support, subscribe if you're new around here, and Patreon is of course we catch those full live reactions and other exclusives like I give video shoutouts to my patrons. Alright, so today we got Kenneth Dade, Francesco, Wayne Aldaquist, Old Man, David, Luke Brownfield, Shanice Walker, Devin Diego, Ashley Hawkham, Corbo, and we also have Casper Joel Jensen. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and have a good one.